morning.
Morning.
This is a continuation of the public panel interview of candidates for the position of Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals, the Court of Tax Appeals, and the Sandigan Bayan. But before proceeding, let's have the centennial prayer of the courts, the national anthem, and the Supreme Court hymn. Okay.
Almighty God, we stand in your holy presence as our supreme judge. We humbly beseech you to bless and inspire us, so that what we think, say, and do will be in accordance with your will. Enlighten our minds, strengthen our spirit, and fill our hearts with fraternal love, wisdom, and understanding, so that we can be effective channels of truth, justice, and peace. In our proceedings today, guide us in the path of righteousness for the fulfillment of your greater glory. Amen.
Alam ng puso sa dilim mo ay lupang hinirang, tuyang ka lang magiging sa manlulupit kita pasisingil sa lagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo ay nilang ang tula awit sa paglayang nilahahan ang isang ng watawat mo'y nagumpay na ang bituin ng araw niya kailan ang ating pagtitigil parang araw ang aming pagsita ang ating ko aming ligaya naman may mamagin at namatay ng tayo. Majesty and light, uphold the fundamental law from this rich with conscience free their views to air, they vow and this to all declare. It's our poor friend or foe alike, the scales are upon us rise. Justice and equity for all, love, truth, and fairness win their war. As the fourth of the sword, forever supreme fall. Supreme Court, creation says that this
Again, Your Honors, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
The panel of interviewers for this morning are the following. The Honorable Justice Jose Cattrall Mendoza, regular member representing the retired members of the Supreme Court and chairperson of the JBC Executive Committee. The Honorable Judge Toribio Ilaw Jr., regular member representing the private sector. The Honorable Justice Noel Jimenez Tiham, regular member representing the Academe. And the Honorable Judge Franklin de Monteverde, regular member representing the Integrated Bar of the Philippines. Your Honors, for interview this morning are the following. Judge John Muel Romano Richard D. Mendoza, a candidate for Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals and the Sandigan Bayan. And Judge Lilian M. Padaen, a candidate for Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals, the Court of Tax Appeals, and the Sandigan Bayan. May I request the candidates to please raise your right hand so that I can administer the oath? Candidates, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this public panel interview by the Judicial Bar Council?
Yes, Your Honors.
So help you God. Your Honors, the first to be interviewed is Judge John Manuel Romano Richard Mendoza. And the first to interview the candidate will be the Honorable Judge Franklin de Monteverde. Judge de Monteverde, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Ed. Yeah, good morning, Judge Mendoza.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah, I like the way your third name is spelled, no? Richard.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where did your parents get this name? This spelling, rather.
I was born on St. Rita's Day, Your Honor. And considering that there is no, I cannot be named as Rito, or there is no masculine equivalent for Rita, my father devised a way to make it masculine by calling me Richard.
Okay. Now, you are presently the presiding judge of the Regional Trial Court of Branch 26 in Cabanatuan City.
Yes, Your Honor.
And how long have you been there?
I've been there for almost 8 years, Your Honor, because you were the outgoing PGA president when I was appointed, Your Honor.
At that time,
Yes, Your Honor.
2013?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, as of the present, what is your caseload?
My caseload, Your Honor, is 595, Your Honor, in my in my own sala, and then I recently been designated as acting presiding judge in Branch 25. It has roughly 300 plus cases, so all in all, 900 plus cases, Your Honor.
Okay. So in your sala alone, it's on the caseload is 638 as of August 31.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this your first time to apply for the appellate court?
Well, Your Honor, this is the first time in the sense that I was able to be allowed to go through the process, because way back in 2015, I was disqualified because I do not have the required 5-year period. And during the last application, due to lack of 2 SAL-ends, I was not given due course. My application was not given due course.
But as of this interview, you have submitted complete documents already,
Yes, Your Honor.
including your salens.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you are applying for the Court of Appeals and Sandigan Bayan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, give us your educational background, starting from the elementary grades.
Yes, Your Honor. I studied at Victoria School Foundation in Quezon City, starting from nursery up to elementary. That is from 1974 to 1983. I took up my secondary school in the same school in Quezon City from 1983 to 1987. I took up my bachelor's degree in the University of the Philippines in 1987 and finished it in 1991. Now I tarried a while, enjoyed myself, and then come 1993, I entered San Beda College of Law, and then later on, 1995, I transferred to San Sebastian College of Law, and there I graduated with a degree of Bachelor's of Law in 1998. Took the bar in the same year, passed it, and practiced law. Now, several years later, way back in 2010 or 2011, I took up my master's degree at the Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Maynila. I finished my academics in 2012, but I was appointed, so it took some time for me to go back and finish my master's thesis or dissertation, which I did in 2017.
Judge,
20 Yes, Your Honor.
how many degrees have you earned?
Well, I've earned my LLB, my LLM, and I am now in the process of writing my dissertation in my Doctor of Civil Law degree at the University of Santo Tomas, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. How about your prejudicature program?
Yes,
Did
Your
you
Honor.
take it?
I took it sometime in 2010, Your Honor, the 22nd Prejudicature seminar sponsored by the Philippine Judicial Academy.
Now let's go first to your medical certificate. You were certified to be mentally and physically fit to work. However, there are several findings which could affect the effective performance of your job. How are you medically, Judge?
Well, Your Honor, it is true that there are some red flags in my medical certificate because first and foremost, I am diabetic, although it is manageable. And at the same time, from time to time, my blood pressure fluctuates. And overall, because of my obesity, I am considered a health risk, Your Honor.
Yes. Are you taking insulin shots?
No, Your Honor, only metformin, Your Honor.
Metformin, and how many times a day?
I take it 3 times a day, maximum of
500 milligrams each.
No, Your Honor, 1 gram each, maximum of 3 grams, Your Honor.
Only 3 grams?
I mean, 500 milligrams.
Yeah, 500 milligrams each.
Yes, sir.
All in all, 1,500 milligrams a day.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, what is this hypercholesterolemia? Do you understand it?
Well, Your Honor, please. I am one point above the cholesterol
normal
level. Yes, Your Honor.
And hyperuricemia, what is this?
Well,
You have a high blood uric acid? High uric acid?
Today, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Perhaps it is due to my diabetes, Your Honor.
That's where you get the hyperuricemia. The level of the uric acid is high in your blood, and if left untreated, the uric acid will accumulate in the kidney, thus forming stones. So
Yes,
better take care of your health.
I
You
will,
are
Your
obese. You are not a sexy man anymore. So better watch out for your health,
Thank you
because
for
this will affect the performance of your job.
thank you for the advice, Your Honor.
Especially on urinalysis, you have albumin and sugar plus tortuous and so many. Just take care of yourself.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Now, let's go to your SALN 2010. You declared 17 assorted firearms. 2010 SALN. Huh?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you fond of collecting firearms?
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, I already have 46 right now, Your Honor.
46.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you declared this in your SALN? The 46 firearms?
Yes, I usually uh, indicate in my SAL and assorted firearms and the approximate total amount of this assorted firearms, Your Honor.
Why do you collect so many firearms, Judge?
Well,
You're afraid that somebody might go after you?
no, Your Honor. It's just that it's something that it relieves my stress. And still, it started when I was very young. I love toy guns, and then it developed into a passion when I became a lawyer. And that's it. I've been collecting guns since I've been buying guns since 1995 when I was third year in law school, Your Honor.
And what kind of firearms do you have?
Well, I do have revolvers, pistols. I have
Uzi? You have Uzi?
no, Your Honor.
AK-47?
I do have two AK-47, two M16 rifles, and one mini M14 semi-automatic rifle, Your Honor.
Hindi ba maximum number of firearms that one can possess is only 5?
Well, Your Honor,
How come you have so many?
I have a Type 5 LTOP, license to possess firearms, Your Honor, which allows me to own as much as I can, as many as I can, Your Honor.
As
And
many
all
as
of
you
them,
can.
and all of them are properly licensed, Your Honor.
Okay. Now let's go to your SALN of 2019. Kindly explain the increase in your net worth from 2018 of 3,788,000 to 5,766,000 in 2019.
Well, Your Honor, please, I included the two vehicles that I was able to buy through installment. And also, Your Honor, I was able to buy a modest lot, Your Honor, in Cabanatuan City. That is through the savings that I made because, Your Honor, considering that I am single because my marriage got annulled and that the salary of judges was increased, I was able to save and was able to buy these properties, Your Honor.
Okay. Now you listed some about 3 cases where you inhibited yourself from hearing them. Are you aware that
Yes, Your
the
Honor.
court frowns on judges inhibiting themselves?
Yes, Your Honor, I
Kindly,
do.
okay. Kindly tell us what these cases are and the reasons
Well,
behind the inhibition.
Yes, Your Honor, I do admit I inhibited myself from hearing these cases because first and foremost, these are cases wherein spouses are involved. It's a very these are bitterly fought by the parties to the point that it became too personal that either of the parties casted aspersion to my impartiality. I do believe, Your Honor, that while it may be true, it is not included in it is not one of the grounds, but I do believe that since in my own personal way, I believe that I can no longer be partial to either of the parties because of these questions on my impartiality. That's why I decided to inhibit myself because my thinking is that since being a family court, these proceedings are becoming too personal, and there is another family court that can properly hear these cases. I I believe that any of the parties will no longer be getting justice from my court. I inhibited, Your Honor. But these
Your
are the
court is a
only three.
family, is a specialized one.
Yes, it is an ex- it is an ex- it was designated to exclusively try family court cases, Your Honor.
So what's the reason you cited the same for all the three cases that you inhibited from?
Yes, Your Honor, because well, if my memory serves me right, the other case involves a party litigant who saw me talking to the other party prior to the time that the case was called, and he started to raise issues regarding my partiality. That's why I decided to recuse myself. In the other cases, these are these are during the proceedings that the parties were really at juggernaut with each other. They were shouting, and when I tried to stop them, they would not stop. And one of the parties, or perhaps became too personal, vented on me. That's why I said, since you've already made those statements before me, I cannot rule this case objectively. That's why I asked for, I made I recused myself from further hearing it.
Okay, Judge. So aside from what was mandated by the rule, what is your personal parameters when inhibiting yourself voluntarily from cases?
Well, that is the only, I think, Your Honor, that is the only, that is my only limitation. If it
Which one?
becomes
Which one?
the,
What limitation is that?
when it becomes too personal, that
Mhm.
the parties will question my integrity, question my partiality. That will be the time, Your Honor, that I will inhibit myself. Because, Your Honor, I think in 8 years of being a trial court judge, these are the only instance that I inhibited myself. Because in these cases, I think this is more exception than the rule, because the parties really became too personal with each other to the point that they included me in their squabble, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge. On the other hand, there were three cases that you failed to decide within the reglementary period. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, because I do
Uh,
ask, from time to time, I ask permission from the Office of the Court Administrator, additional period within which to uh, decide my case, Your Honor.
why did you ask for an additional or an extension of time to
Well,
decide?
Your Honor, there are times that cases will be submitted for decision almost at the same time, and that it became my practice that in case I will not be able, or I think I will not be able to meet the deadline, I will send a letter to the Office of the Court Administrator to ask for an extension.
Wasn't it the fact that your medical condition hindered you or prevented you from deciding within the reglementary period?
No, Your Honor, because to be honest with you, Your Honor, since since I'm alone in Cabanatuan City, Your Honor, I usually write my cases in my chambers. When I write cases and I'm alone, I usually leave the chambers at around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, Your Honor.
So, what drives you in your professional life?
Well, the my duties as a judge to serve and administer justice, Your Honor.
And what is your greatest strength?
I think that I can reach out to parties for the parties to talk among themselves and the compromise, and at the same time, Your Honor, that I can say that I am not corrupt. I am a very straightforward judge. I administer justice tempered with mercy, Your Honor.
And what is your weakness?
my weakness, Your Honor, is like what you said a while ago, is sometimes affected by my health. Whenever my sugar shoots up, I tend to be short-tempered, Your Honor.
To the extent of doing
Perhaps,
what?
well, perhaps, Your Honor, shouting, or perhaps telling the parties in a tone that is more emphatic or more stronger than the usual, Your Honor.
In your interview, there was one instance wherein you admitted to have threatened other people. Is that correct?
Not threatened in the sense, Your Honor, that
You often lose your temper to such an extent that you get angry and you strike back. You threaten people.
no, Your Honor, not really threatened, Your Honor, but to tell them that if they will not settle the matter, or if they will not consider uh, their remedies, they may be convicted, or sometimes I tell them under the present circumstances, these are the, if convicted, this is the penalty that you are looking for or facing, Your Honor.
How
But
how stable are you, Judge, emotionally?
well, I can say I am emotionally stable, considering that uh, I uh, I was able to uh, survive the tumultuous marriage that I had, then survive the rigors of trial when I had it annulled, and especially in being a family court judge, Your Honor, it taught me how to control my emotions, because I am trying cases which are highly emotional, cases where children are being raped, children are being trafficked, uh, parties
Okay,
are.
Judge. I'll ask you two more questions.
Yes, Your Honor, please.
Final questions. How is your relationship with your peers?
Well, it's good, Your Honor. I am very much uh, approachable. I have a very good uh, uh, I have a very good working relationship with my fellow judges. In fact, Your Honor, I was just recently designated as the executive judge of
Okay.
Cabanatuan City.
How about in the community where you live? How is your relationship
Well,
with the
Your Honor, of course, because they know I am a judge, they tend to be kind to me, good to me, but I still make it a point that I will maintain some distance, because the possibility that later on I will be trying their cases, or I will be ruling on their motions as an executive judge. So I can say that I have a very good relationship with them, but I do maintain a certain distance, Your Honor, so that my independence as a judge will not be questioned later on.
Okay. Now, my last question. You are applying for a seat sa Court of Appeals and the Sandigan Bayan. This is a collegial court, and you will be there if you should be appointed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, do you think you can get along with the other justices?
Well,
With
Your
the
Honor,
with the other colleagues of yours, assuming
well,
that you will be appointed?
yes, Your Honor, because first and foremost, I do value honor, seniority. Secondly, I'm a good team player, uh, and I know how to follow orders of my superiors, Your Honor. That's why I think, if given the opportunity to serve in a higher capacity in a collegiate court, I think, Your Honor, I can be a good team player among my peers, among the justices in the division, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge, that was my last question. Thank you for your time. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Okay. Attorney Ed.
Thank you, Judge de Monteverde.
Hi, thank you.
Excuse me po, wala lang pong video.
Hi.
Sorry.
Sige.
Valid.
Okay, sige.
Um, Thank you, Judge De Monteverde. Next to interview the applicant is the Honorable Justice Noel Jimenez Tiham.
Thank you, Attorney Tally. Good morning, Judge Mendoza.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning po.
All right. I was smiling when Judge De Monteverde elicited from you the information that you have a cache of firearms.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you bring them to the courtroom?
Well, I do bring to Your Honor with me every time.
And then I was also smiling when you explained your judicial attitude that you will render justice tempered with mercy. Do you tell the litigants and the lawyers that if they behave, you will not shoot them?
No, Your Honor. Although Your Honor, they know that I have a unusual passion for guns, Your Honor.
All right. My first question is, Chief Justice Peralta will soon avail of optional retirement in March of 2021. He has implemented a lot of reforms in the judiciary. Can you suggest additional reforms he can implement before he retires, which will be part of his legacy? But don't give me a safe answer by saying that he has already implemented all of the reforms. Can you think of additional reforms he can implement for the judiciary?
Yes, Your Honor, but it pertains, Your Honor, to more of an administrative part of the judiciary, Your Honor. I would like to say that with respect to the lower court employees, Your Honor, that the Supreme Court will be more strict in hiring lower court employees, Your Honor, such that it will be based on merit, Your Honor, and not because they are known to the judge or the judge knows them very much. That's why they are being endorsed and appointed, Your Honor. I think the Supreme Court will be more, in a colloquial word, will be more choosy, Your Honor, in hiring lower court personnel.
But there is some degree of misunderstanding in your answer. The appointing power is the president, correct? The Supreme Court has nothing to do with appointments. Okay, so
Your Honor, please.
let me ask you the same question. With respect to the Judicial and Bar Council, since we screen applicants, we evaluate them, we vet them, and then we choose whom to nominate, what additional reforms do you think we should adopt for the judiciary?
Yes, Your Honor, before I proceed, what I meant a while ago was for lower court personnel, Your Honor, not for judges, for lower court personnel. Now, with respect to the JBC, Your Honor, I think that there should be lesser, Your Honor. If you're going to ask me, I would like to reduce the number of sal-ins that are being required of incumbent judges, Your Honor. Perhaps it to streamline the documents that judges need to submit to the Judicial and Bar Council, because, Your Honor, we are, this is a more personal sentiment that somehow by asking us to submit all these requirements more than that of coming from the private sector, it entails us more time to perform this and to obtain these documents from the ones who are coming in from the private sector, Your Honor. But
You're not suggesting that we amend the law and the Constitution, which requires the filing of a SALN by government employees, correct?
No, Your Honor. I am just saying that instead of 10 years, perhaps make it 5 years, Your Honor. Make it 5 years.
Is there any particular reason?
Well,
Considering that if you file your SALN, then it is part of the records, correct?
yes, Your Honor, especially if you are from the Supreme Court. The record keepings of the Supreme Court, of the Office of Court Administrator, is impeccable. They are very diligent. But the problem is, Your Honor, if you came from the executive branch or from the other branch of from the legislature, sometimes, Your Honor, SALNs tends to get lost or be missing. And when you go to the ombudsman,
Negligence, is it imputable if you lose your SALN?
well, Your Honor, please.
Should we compensate? Should we be more liberal to applicants who cannot substantially comply with the requirements of SALN, while other applicants are able to comply with the requirements of SALN?
No, Your Honor. What I'm just saying is that instead of 10 years, if it can be made, shorten it to 5 years, Your Honor, so that we are not made to look for other SALNs, Your Honor, that sometimes, Your Honor, gets missing or gets lost. Because, Your Honor, the problem is the SALN that we are submitting to the Supreme Court does not have any evidence that the Supreme Court received it. So what we usually do is to go to the Supreme Court to get certified copies. Now, there is no problem if it is from the Supreme Court because, as I said, the record keeping of the Supreme Court is very good. The problem lies if you are coming from other government agencies where
Were
these
you
record
were you able to locate the missing SALN that was required of you?
Your Honor, it so happened that the missing SALN that my missing SALN, the one was no longer required, and the other one I was able to get finally from the office of my former spouse, which we jointly filed way back in 2011, Your Honor, or 2010.
So, do you think a SALN is equally important as the birth certificate and the marriage certificate?
Yes, Your Honor, because it tells how the prospective applicant or the prospective appointee dealt with these finances while being in office, Your Honor.
All right. You are applying for the Sandigan Bayan, Judge.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is your understanding of the Barker balancing test enunciated by the Supreme Court in 2018 in the case of Kagang versus Sandigan Bayan? Have you heard about it?
Honestly, Your Honor, no,
balancing
Your Honor.
test.
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
What is your understanding of inordinate delay?
Well, it is a delay. It is not just a mere simple delay, but something that is unexplainable, Your Honor.
Is it a justifiable delay?
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Can you explain to the council the difference between the right to speedy disposition of cases and the right to speedy trial? Is there a difference?
Well, Your Honor, please, the right to speedy disposition of cases lies to the fact that all litigants have the right to expect that the judges will be deciding or disposing their motions, their cases within the time provided for by the rules. Now, when it comes to speedy trial, Your Honor, I believe that all parties or litigants, both accused and the state, have the right to a expeditious expeditious trial, keeping with the in keeping with the uh, periods prescribed by the rules, Your Honor. In
With
the sense,
respect to criminal prosecution, which phrase is more applicable? Is it the right to speedy disposition of the case or right to a speedy trial?
I believe, Your Honor, the right to speedy trial, Your Honor.
So that's the difference. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you understand, Judge, by judicial review?
That the Supreme Court acting as well, the Supreme Court can review all actions made by the executive and the legislative branch whenever there is allegation that they have acting beyond uh, what is uh, what is provided, or uh, they have already acted beyond their jurisdiction, Your Honor.
What are the three principles of judicial review enunciated in the case of Marbury versus Madison?
Yes, Your Honor. Uh, Judicial review can be had
In other words, why is it necessary to have judicial review?
because, Your Honor, if there is no judicial review, no one will tell the two other branches that they are not doing their job, or they doing their job beyond the limits of what they're supposed to do, Your Honor.
In the exercise of judicial review, what is the paramount standard used by the courts? The review is based on what?
Uh,
The Constitution, correct?
yes, Your Honor. That under the expanded jurisdiction rule, Your Honor.
And now we're talking of judicial review. So judicial review is important. The first principle is the Constitution is the supreme law
Yes,
of the
Your Honor.
country. And the Supreme Court, the second principle is the Supreme Court has the ultimate authority in ruling in constitutional matters. And number three, the judiciary must rule against any law that conflicts with the Constitution. Do you agree with that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, in the case of Gio Samar versus Department of Transportation and Communication, the Supreme Court amplified the guidelines in the exercise of judicial review. If you have read it, or even if you have not read it, what do you think were the guidelines for judicial review? When can the Supreme Court exercise judicial review?
Well, first and foremost, Your Honor, that there must be a judiciable controversy.
So there must be
a judiciable controversy, Your Honor.
justiciable controversy.
Yes, Your Honor. Justiciable controversy. And secondly, Your Honor, the person who is asking for review must have a standing. He must be bound to suffer if the review will not be done, and that the alleged government action being questioned will be implemented or will be executed upon him or in general, Your Honor.
What about actual case or controversy?
Yes, Your Honor, that there must be, aside from the justiciable controversy, there must be an actual case, Your Honor, such that it will not be a mere, what do you call this? A mere that he is not just asking the opinion of the court on the said matter, Your Honor.
And the question of constitutionality must be raised
In
at
the
the
soonest
earliest possible
possible time, Your Honor.
Okay, and the issue of constitutionality must be the very least mota of the
of the
case.
case. Yes, Your Honor.
You read that again because it is important if you want to join the appellate court.
Yes, Your Honor, I will.
Court reviews the laws passed by Congress. You came from the Senate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are they in effect saying that if they nullify it, are they in effect saying that Congress committed an error and Congress does not know how to enact laws?
No, Your Honor. It's just that, Your Honor, perhaps the reason why these laws are 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 being uh, are being called unconstitutional or declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court is because of the fact that there are some oversights and that there are some matters that perhaps uh, in their desire, in the legislature's desire to implement a new version of a law, fails to consider the other aspect of the law, Your Honor.
So when you say oversight, are you suggesting that when the court does judicial review, they're saying that there was negligence on the part of Congress to enact a perfect law?
Well, Your Honor, the Congress is always,
You came from the Senate. You should
yes,
be.
Your Honor, yes, Your Honor, the Congress is always, I'm sure it always makes law with with adherence to make it a good law. But the problem is, Your Honor, there are other circumstances that affects the passage of a law, Your Honor.
Now,
I'm very
there
sorry to
are
admit that.
there are 39 petitions filed before the Supreme Court questioning the constitutionality of the anti-terrorism law. Correct? And the court is supposed to conduct oral arguments sometime next month. Now, the petitioners are saying that the language of the law causes a chilling effect upon the people. What do you understand by that? A chilling effect.
Well, Your Honor, please, uh, the petitioners feel that the mere enactment of the law or effectivity of the law is already somewhat preventing them from exercising their rights. It frightens them to exercise their rights to do something because they might be charged with terrorism. But, Your Honor, please, times is different. I do believe that the country needs this law in order to prevent another uh, incident that happened in Marawi, Your Honor.
Okay, that's the correct answer to the wrong question. I was just asking about chilling effect. In effect, are the petitioners saying that the language of the law which causes chilling effect is imprecise, improper, inappropriate? In other words, they're saying that that Congress does not know how to craft a good law. Is that what the petitioners are saying?
Well, Your Honor, in a way, yes, but I do not believe that the 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 law was crafted that way, Your Honor, because these laws were the law itself was made in in consultation with other laws or other anti-terror laws uh, passed in other countries, Your Honor.
Your former boss, Senator Lacson, was one of the authors, I think, of the anti-terror law, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, and
One of the
I
authors.
do believe, Your Honor, that it is it is
And even
proper.
Senator Drilon said that he is willing to defend the law. He is willing to defend the law. It was passed by the Senate with, I think, only one abstention or vote against. All right, my last question is, in your opinion, can the police use a GPS, you know what the GPS
Yes, Your Honor.
tracker to track vehicles? Is that constitutional? Can they use that, the police?
Well, Your Honor, please. I think that if the GPS tracker is in itself part and part of the motor vehicle, and there's a mechanism for the court can tap into the system.
To monitor the whereabouts of criminals, suspected criminals. Can they do that, the police?
Well, I think, Your Honor, at this point, they should ask for a court, they should ask the court
The
for
warrant. They need a warrant.
a warrant first, Your Honor, before they can do that.
About if a suspected criminal is arrested, a valid warrantless arrest,
Yes, Your
can
Honor.
police confiscate his cell phone and look into its contents, or is there a need of a warrant?
Yes, Your Honor. There is the the cell phone, either the cell phone can be confiscated, but before it can be opened, there must be a warrant from the court that will authorize them to look into the contents of the cell phone, Your Honor. Otherwise, the contents will become inadmissible if they do not have any warrant to get the contents, Your Honor, of the cell phone.
The law enforcement officers do not know what is the contents of the cell phone. So what will be their basis to establish probable cause?
That the cell phone was used in the crime itself. Because, Your Honor, there are times that cellular phones are being used, but in drug cases, they are being used by the posture buyer and the accused, Your Honor. So they can use the cell phone. They can use the fact that it was used in the transaction to serve as probable cause for the court to grant the warrant, Your Honor.
What about surveillance security camera? Do you need a warrant for that?
Well, Your Honor, I believe, Your Honor, as long as the person who owns the CCTV, the surveillance camera, voluntarily gives it to the policeman, no warrant is needed. But if the owner will invoke the privacy or the fact that it is inside his residence, then I think, Your Honor, a warrant is needed.
Now, my final question is, does the installation of CCTV on city streets violate the right to privacy of individuals?
Well, Your Honor, please, I don't think that it violates the right to privacy, because if you're walking down the street, you do not have an expectation of privacy, Your Honor.
Are you related to Justice Mendoza, the chairman of our executive committee?
Well, no, Your Honor, because
Or not?
my Mendoza, Your Honor, is from Bulacan, Your Honor.
Justice Mendoza does not carry firearms.
Well, Your Honor, perhaps that is our
Thank you very
difference.
much, Judge, and good luck.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very much also. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Justice Tiham. Next to interview the applicant is Honorable Judge Toribio E. Ilaw Jr.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Attorney Tali, Attorney Inting.
You're welcome, Judge.
All right, good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Your Honor.
John Manuel Romano. So your mother's family name is David. So you're from Pampanga. Your mother's from Pampanga.
Yes, Your Honor, from Florida Blanca, Pampanga, Your Honor.
Biyasa ka magkapampangan.
Ali po.
Alipo, kahit di
konti.
takbo.
Opo. I can understand but I cannot speak, Your Honor.
But according to you, this is not the first time you applied in the appellate court. As in fact, you claim to have applied as Associate Justice in the Court of Appeals way back in 2015 or
Yes, Sandigan Bayan, Your Honor.
Sandigan Bayan. About in Associate Justice of the Court of Appeals, that was in 2019?
Yes, Your Honor. I applied, Your Honor.
And the reason why you were not considered in 2015 because of the lack of years experience.
Yes, Your Honor.
And about in 2019?
I was not able to complete the 10 SAL-ends that are required, Your Honor.
Okay, 10 SAL-ends. And the reason you were not able to complete it?
Because, Your Honor, it was missing. When I was asking for the copies that came from the Senate, they told me that the 2 SAL-ends during the time were missing, Your Honor. Because during the time I was employed with the Senate, Your Honor.
And also caught my attention with respect to your SAL-end and declaration of personal properties with 17 firearms. Imagine.
Actually, Your Honor, it's already 46.
46 firearms?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you maintaining a private army?
No, Your
or
Honor.
An armory?
No, well, Your Honor, it is already an armory because of the sheer number. But it's just for private, it's for a personal satisfaction, a stress reliever on my part, Your Honor.
Yes. So you also practice shooting?
From time to time, Your Honor, yes.
Not even a member of a gun club?
I used to be a member of the Arms Corps gun club here in Marikina. But lately, I've been practicing shooting with my fellow judges in Nueva Ecija, Your Honor.
Why have a passion of owning so many firearms, Judge?
Well, since I was young, Your Honor, I liked playing with guns, and presently, Your Honor, there is I want to have the newest firearm, and because of that longing or inkling to have the latest firearm, and I do not dispose of any firearms, I accumulated this number of firearms, Your Honor. And all of them are properly licensed, and I do make it a point that every time that it will be expiring, I will renew it before it expires.
But what is your favorite firearm? Handgun?
Glock, Your Honor. A 9mm Glock.
9mm Glock? The latest one? The Gen?
Yes, I have the Gen 5 already, Your Honor. But I carry the Gen 4.
Alright, you live in the Mahogany Park, Marikina Heights, Marikina?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how far is this residence of yours from the Provident Village?
Your Honor, it's about perhaps without traffic, Your Honor, it can be reached by 15 minutes. But because of the traffic, perhaps almost half an hour, Your Honor. We are located on the higher area, while Provident is located on the riverbank of Marikina River, Your Honor.
So you did not suffer from the effects of Typhoon Ulysses?
In the sense that, Your Honor, we never got flooded. But all the roads coming in and going out of this place are all flooded, Your Honor.
So in your opinion, what is a long-term solution to this problem in Marikina during this typhoon?
Your Honor, I think the only solution to the problem is to plant more trees so that the Marikina watershed area can absorb all the rain that is coming from that are being poured there at. Because, Your Honor, please, I am a resident of this place since I was in grade 1. During the time, while it may be true that Provident gets flooded, but it is not to that extent. I think it is because of the massive deforestation of the Marikina watershed that causes these floods, or causes the Marikina River to swell that much, because the soil anymore, or the watershed, cannot hold the water anymore, Your Honor.
So you would rather suggest that to plant more trees in the subdivision in Marikina?
In the watershed, Your Honor.
Watershed. Where is
Yes.
this watershed located at?
This is located, Your Honor, in the hills of Antipolo, Baras, in the elevated areas. Because, Your Honor, during the time of now Congressman, former Mayor Bayani Fernando, he did all, he tried all engineering interventions, but it appears that because of what happened in Ulysses, these interventions are not effective. So I think the only way that to stop this is to plant more trees at the Marikina watershed area, which is located way up in the mountains, Your Honor. But it is not really a short-term solution. It will be really a long-term solution.
That watershed is not in Marikina, but rather in a high places you mentioned in Rizal.
Yes, Your Honor. Because before
Marikina.
Yes, Your Honor, because, Your Honor, the rains, before they arrive they reach Marikina, Your Honors, passes by through the watershed. And if this rains, the water coming from these rains will be absorbed by the watershed by having more trees planted thereat. The water that will be coming down from the watershed will not cause the Marikina River to swell that much. And of course, Your Honor, there is this another perhaps another way of making the waterway or the riverway, the river banks, to widen the river banks, because as what is being said by the mayor right now, that because of the artificial reclamations made on the river banks, the river got narrowed, and which resulted for it to overflow every time that the rains are there will be rains for a longer period, Your Honor. Of course, there will be also the question of dredging further the Marikina River, Your Honor.
At the record, you also studied in Zambia and you transferred to San Sebastian.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why did you move from Zambia to San Sebastian?
Because, Your Honor, my professor in
Criminal law?
in civil procedure, Your Honor, gave me a flunked me a grade that caused my QPI to not caused me not to meet the standards during that time, Your Honor. So I was asked to leave. I was dismissed. I transferred to San Sebastian, Your Honor.
At you at liberty to disclose the professor in civil procedure?
Yes, Your Honor, because he's a very good professor, Your Honor. The former Dean Virgilio Hara, Your Honor.
Dean Hara. Okay. By the way, where were you practicing your profession from 1999 to 2017?
Yes, Your Honor. Law with attorney Rino Gonzalez, the son of Judge Rino Gonzalez Jr. of RTC Iriga, and then after we joined the firm joined what is then known as Tan and Venturanza, and is presently known as Tan Venturanza Valdez Law Offices in Ortigas, Your Honor. After that, I joined my father in his law office, Your Honor.
Your father was also a lawyer?
A lawyer, Your Honor, here in Marikina.
So it appears that you did not mention the name of your spouse. Rather, you put it not applicable, not applicable.
Yes, Your Honor, because my marriage was annulled, Your Honor, in 2015.
2015,
Yes,
not
Your Honor.
2000, not 2013.
I think in 2015, Your Honor, it was the judgment was granted on 2015. It became final in 2015, Your Honor.
To what ground was your marriage dissolved or annulled?
Uh, on the Article 36, Your Honor, psychological incapacity.
On
My
your
wife,
part?
no, Your Honor, on the part of my wife, who was found to be having borderline personality disorder, Your Honor.
Alright, what is your reputation in your office?
Reputation in the sense, Your Honor, among my staff, they tell me I'm a good judge. Among my fellow judges, I get along with them very well. Uh, among the practitioners in Cabanatuan City, uh, all but one lawyer is uh, finds me very good or has no problem with me, Your Honor, especially the senior lawyers.
You mentioned about your reputation from your colleagues and subordinates. How about from your superiors?
Well, Your Honor, I do not have any problem with my superiors, Your Honor, because I do believe in obedience. I do believe in seniority, Your Honor.
I don't know if this question has been asked with respect to your net worth in Sal End. And it appears that there was no substantial change or decrease in your net worth that year. That was in 2015 when your marriage was dissolved.
Yes, Your Honor, in this because Your Honor, I think I I placed therein that the two condominiums that we were able to buy during our period of cohabitation, I gave it to my wife, Your Honor. Voluntarily, I gave it to her, and I only got the old car, Your Honor.
So that might have been the reason there was a substantial decrease in your net worth in 2016.
Because I did not include them anymore, Your Honor.
All right. What is your greatest failure in life, and what did you learn from it?
I think, Your Honor, my greatest failure in life is perhaps, Your Honor, not having studied law at better. Perhaps I could have been better if I studied law more diligently, Your Honor, more diligent.
And what did you learn from it?
That you have to exert all efforts to excel in all your fields of endeavor, not to be mediocre. You have to excel in everything that you do so that you will have the satisfaction that you did everything at your best and you will not tell yourself later on that you messed up or you did something that you should have done better, Your Honor.
And what was the happiest period of your life?
Perhaps, Your Honor, I can say that I am happy at the present, Your Honor, with my present position that I can make lives of people better, make people suffer for their mistakes or for their crimes. I think, Your Honor, I am at this point of my life that I am content. I am happy. I am contented, Your Honor.
Without any relationship?
Well, Your Honor, With regards to relationship, Your Honor, I do have a relationship, Your Honor, and I do consider my partner's children as my own children, Your Honor.
Alright, what improvements have you effected and what accomplishments have you achieved in your court that make you worthy of a promotion, either at the Court of Appeals or at the Sandigan Bayan?
Well, Your Honor, please, I'm trying my best to implement the continuous trial, recently the amendments in civil procedure and in evidence, Your Honor. But these are just lately. But with regards to the continuous trial, Your Honor, I've been trying my best to implement that. But due to the shall I say, due to the number of prosecutors in the province and in the province of Nueva Ecija and in the city of Cabanatuan, I I seldom or I cannot implement the continuous trial system at the fullest, Your Honor. And also, of course, with regards to the court itself, I do not wait for the Supreme Court to supply me with materials. I use my extraordinary allowance, sometimes my own money, to buy the needed materials so that my court will function properly, Your Honor.
And you're applying for both the Court of Appeals and the Sandigan Bayan?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
if you were to look at your qualifications and experience, which court do you think you could contribute best and why?
The Sandigan Bayan, Your Honor, because I like trial. I like doing trial work. I like hearing cases. I like hearing motions, Your Honor. And I have a, I have, I think I have a better understanding, Your Honor, of uh, criminal cases or cases uh, the within the jurisdiction of the Sandigan Bayan. Although I can say that if given the opportunity to be appointed in the Court of Appeals, I am willing to learn more, to study. And since I believe that I can get along with my peers, that will not be a problem on my part, Your Honor. If ever I will be given that opportunity.
Alright, kindly differentiate conclusiveness of judgment and bar by prior judgment.
Well, bar by prior judgment in the sense that there is already a judgment that prohibits or that resolves the matter. Conclusiveness of judgment is that the judgment is complete, it is conclusive, and therefore uh, it it is therefore it is already um, it can already bind the proceedings, Your Honor.
Alright, what does the Supreme Court have to say with regard to pre-approved credit cards? Are they prevalent nowadays?
Yes, Your Honor. I think there are pre-approved credit cards, Your Honor. And I think there are attractive nuances, Your Honor, because they make people borrow even though they do not have the money to pay for it.
Do you mean to say that banks, quasi-banks, and credit cards companies are not prohibited from issuing pre-approved credit cards?
Yes, Your Honor, because I myself was given one when I was still working in the Senate. They told me that this credit card is already approved. You need just to sign it, and you can use it, Your Honor. And I ended up surrendering it later on because it greatly affected my finances, Your Honor.
Sorry, you're wrong. All right. What is your least favorite thing about humanity?
That people tends to use somebody for their own personal interest.
Can you expound on this?
Well, Your Honor, please, there are people that will use or will marginalize another person just to serve their interest. In the workplace, there are, especially among the lower court employees, these are prevalent. There are people who would ask another person or another office mate to serve as guarantors, to serve as uh, uh, persons who will endorse them to lending companies, and then later on they will not perform their obligations, so that these people who are being used as guarantors or people or endorsers are are made to suffer for the consequences of the actions that they did. So I think, Your Honor, this is the worst in humanity. The fact that people tend to use people tend to use other people for their own personal gain or aggrandizement, Your Honor.
All right, my last question, Judge. One morning, you woke up and found an elephant in your backyard. What are you going to do?
Well, if that's the case, Your Honor, I'm going to call uh, the government agency that deals with the wild animals, and report them that there is an animal in my backyard for them to get it, Your Honor. But of course, Your Honor, we have no wild elephants in our country, Your Honor.
Only white elephant projects.
Yes, yes, Your Honor. I do agree with you.
All right, that was my last and final question, Judge. Thank you, and good luck to your journey. I hope you that's a good gun, the 9mm clock, Jen. How much did you pay for it?
The Gen 5, Your Honor, nowadays cost around 50,000, Your Honor. But since I'm a good customer, I always get a discount, Your Honor.
Just mentioning the name of Senator Larson.
No, Your Honor. I've been buying Glock with the same dealer for the past years, Your Honor.
All right, thank you again.
Yes, Your
Good
Honor.
luck.
Stay safe, Your Honor. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Judge Ilaw. Next to interview the applicant is the Honorable Justice Jose Cattrall Mendoza.
Good morning, Judge.
Your Honor, good morning po.
You were asked so many questions, and what areas in your preparation were not covered by my colleague?
Well, they never asked me about my court, Your Honor, being a family court. And
your court is a family court,
I designated
a
to try.
designated family court. I see.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're an expert. When were you assigned to that court? designated as a family court 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago.
Yes, Your Honor. When I applied for it, it is already a designated family court. In fact, it was designated during the time that the Family Courts Act was implemented, Your Honor.
So, family court judge, you have annulment cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
And your marriage was annulled before or after your assumption?
After my assumption, Your Honor.
Who filed the annulment?
I myself,
Marriage.
Your Honor.
Where?
In Cabanatuan City, Your Honor.
In Cabanatuan?
Yes, Your Honor. I filed it before in Cabanatuan, and of course, it will be raffled to the family court. It was the executive judge then assigned another court to handle the proceedings, Your Honor.
At that time, you were both residents of what? Marikina?
I was a resident of Cabanatuan City because, Your Honor, upon my appointment, I transferred to Cabanatuan City, staying there for 6 days, Your Honor.
Your wife joined you there?
During that time, Your Honor, we are already estranged. We were estranged as early as 2010, Your Honor.
And you filed the petition for annulment alleging that she was psychologically incapacitated.
Yes, Your Honor.
Perform the duties of the marriage.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anyway, that has become final. I will no longer inquire into that. It appears here from the records that you have been with Senator Larson. No?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did he consult you regarding the anti-terror law?
No, Your Honor, but from time to time, I read news stories about it.
You were never consulted.
Yes, Your Honor.
How about the Human Security Act? You were still there.
I think it was during the time that it became a law after
Yes, but in the preparation, in the drafting, you took part in
No,
the
Your Honor, because my principal duty there is to head the legal assistance desk, and second, thereafter, I became technical director of the Oversight Committee on Disaster Risk Reduction and General Counsel of the Committee on Ethics and Privileges, Your Honor.
You were a legal consultant, but you were not consulted in the preparation of the human security law.
No, Your Honor, because there are other lawyers who are assigned to do legislative work. My work is mostly, Your Honor, legal assistance to constituents, to clients, and thereafter I became directors or persons in charge in different committees, Your Honor.
Okay. It is the policy of the Chief Justice to give preference to those who have been staying in the regional trial court with good records to be given preference. Can you convince us, the members of the Judicial Bar Council, why you should be an exception to that?
Well, Your Honor, as a judge, Your Honor, up to now, as far as I know, Your Honor, I do not have any administrative cases filed by lawyers or litigants in Cabanatuan City, Your Honor.
Yeah, what else? Because there's so many factors we have to consider. What is really your outstanding qualification or achievement? And for us to disregard or exempt you from that or to put you in a higher preference category. Because considering your co-applicants, there are so many who have been in the RTC for 12 years or even 15 years, or at least 12 years. So there are 15 years, 19 years, 20
Yes, Your
years.
Honor. I know some of them, and I do agree that they are more learned, more seasoned than me. I believe, Your Honor, that I am worthy of the appointment because of the fact that first, Your Honor, as I said, I have yet to have any administrative case. Perhaps I'm doing things correctly.
That is
Secondly,
only for that reason. What other reason?
perhaps, Your Honor, I am willing to learn. I know, Your Honor, that I that I believe that by being promoted, it will still entail a lot of learning on my part. So I'm willing to learn, Your Honor.
So you will still learn.
Well,
You will still learn.
I believe, Your Honor, life is a continuing education. It's a continuing process of learning, Your Honor. And
I see, I see.
I believe that I can get along with my peers. I can I do believe in seniority. I'm an obedient person, meaning I follow my seniors. So I think, Your Honor, I can fit in that in the workings of a collegiate court, Your Honor.
I see. You took up AB Sociology in UP.
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you under Professor David Sarko?
Randy David, no, Your Honor.
No, Sarko.
Yes, Your Honor. He is my professor in sociology of deviant behavior, Your Honor.
Yes, what did you learn from her? From him, I'm sorry.
Well, Your
From
Honor,
which you have applied in your life and in your profession
Your Honor,
and your present position.
the manner to treat deviant or deviancy, the manner to approach criminals, not to go beyond what we claim a sociological imagination in treating with criminals, to know the reason why they committed the or allegedly committed the act, or why they acted that way, and that perhaps to treat them more of a human being, not a person who committed a crime. Perhaps it's a more akin to at least in the decision or in treating them, everything must be tempered with mercy, Your Honor. But not to the extent of violating or disregarding the laws, Your Honor.
Yes, you should be more in the Bureau of Correction, or believe it. Anyway, you earlier mentioned that you judge with mercy. Can you expound on that?
Well, Your Honor, please. Since
tempered with mercy.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that judgment should be first and foremost, being the accused, they should be given, they should be afforded the presumption of innocence, and that if only there is proof beyond reasonable doubt that they are really guilty of the crime, then the penalty must be tempered with mercy, in the sense that all the circumstances that can favor them must be applied, such that if the person is a first time offender, and since judges, we have we can, in applying the indeterminate sentence law, we can choose the imposable penalty. I think, Your Honor, the proper penalty in uh, should be in the barest minimum, so that he can be rehabilitated further. But if an accused is one that is a repeated offender, a habitual delinquent, then I think, Your Honor, the penalty must be attuned the to his status, Your Honor.
What was you render the penalty or impose the penalty imposable under the law.
Yes, Your Honor. No longer,
In your study or observation of the accused in criminal cases before you, were you able to recall the teachings of Professor Sarko on deviant behavior of people or accused?
in some cases, Your Honor,
Uh,
because some of them, well, of course, most often than not, the reasons will be
can you cite one
overlooked.
example where you applied what you learned in UP in your actual case?
Yes, Your Honor, that there are reasons other than what is uh, what is very obvious behind the commission of the offense. There are these compelling reasons that drove them to commit the crime, Your Honor. One of
Suppose
them is
okay, continue.
poverty, Your Honor,
Yes,
and sometimes the circumstances drove them such that if they are being ridiculed or they are being treated as not as persons by the landowners. Sometimes, Your Honor, this what I learned from my undergraduate course sets in because of the understanding that there are other reasons that behind the commission of the offense, Your Honor, not just to treat him as an accused or a criminal, Your Honor.
suppose those backgrounds were not adduced in evidence.
Well, Your Honor, please, if that is the case, Your Honor, I think, Your Honor, I will have to deal with the circumstances prevailing, excuse me, Your Honor, and the manner of deportment that I noticed during trial, Your Honor.
So based on the evidence and actual observation of the witnesses.
Yes, Your Honor. Although, Your Honor, again, I think I still have that leeway of imposing a lighter penalty because of the indeterminate sentence law, Your Honor.
Yes, every one of us. If you're a judge, you consider you apply the indeterminate sentence law.
Yes, Your Honor.
In what cases is the indeterminate sentence law not applied? You remember your remedial law. You're applying the Sandigan Bayan.
Yes, Your Honor.
In what cases? Do you know?
Yeah,
Do you
yes, Your
remember?
Honor. I remember, Your Honor.
Yes.
Crimes of treason, you cannot apply it in crimes of treason. In crimes where the imposable penalty is undivisible, Your Honor. Although technically, reclusion perpetua is not is indivisible, but purposes of parole, Your Honor, we are giving it a period of 40 years, but it still remains to be indivisible. So
you cannot apply the indeterminate sentence.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the entity which considers it as a divisible penalty is the Bureau of Prisons. And it is already executive, not judicial, right?
With respect, Your Honor, yes to the
You in your application you did not apply as a justice in the Court of Tax Appeals.
yes,
You
Your Honor.
applied in the Court of Appeals. Oh, I presume you have read the rules. You're a wide reader. You said you were not so focused when you were a student, but when you, I think you're a late. You want to catch up and read, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. What are the three general categories where the Court of Appeals can receive evidence?
When, Your Honor, the first I think, Your Honor, is when the judgment or the decision of the regional trial court is not based on evidence, Your Honor.
Not based on evidence, but it is
yes.
not based on evidence. You further hear it as an appellate court justice. You further hear it.
No, Your Honor, because
What is the ground? When are you allowed? When is the Court of Appeals allowed to receive evidence? Do you allow the reopening in the appellate court?
No, Your Honor,
Is that not curing? Is that not curing what they have failed to do in the trial court?
No, Your Honor, the appellate court will remand it back to the trial court, Your Honor.
Why will you remand it back?
For further proceedings, Your Honor.
What? There was already a judgment. Why will you remand it?
Well, Your Honor, please, there are instances that the Court of Appeals remands back to the the Court of Appeals will, I'm sorry, Your Honor, the Court of Appeal will overturn the decision of the regional trial court, and if there are any, in cases that there are lapses.
Is that not reopening of the case if you remand it to the trial court for reception of evidence? You're allowing the parties to correct their negligence.
Not well, Your Honor. I think I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I think the I think, Your Honor, the only time that the case can be remanded if it can be remanded, Your Honor, because at that time the decision is not yet final, Your Honor.
The decision is not final. You can remand it. So
well,
that is
there is a determination that
is allowed under the rules.
Well, because, Your Honor, if the case is appealed, Your Honor, the appellant is giving the opportunity for the appellate court to decide on the subject matter, because as I said,
the Court of Appeals decides on the basis of it reviews the decision rendered on the basis of the records, evidentiary records, right? Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you review it, you are just limited to that. The Court of Appeals is limited to reviewing it and basing each decision on the records.
Yes, Your Honor.
So why are you going to remand it to the Court of Appeals? To the trial court, I'm sorry.
Yes, Your Honor. I think I'm wrong, Your Honor. I have to withdraw that answer, Your Honor.
No, you cannot remand. Okay. But I asked you earlier, what are the three? There are situations where the Court of Appeals can receive evidence. What are those three general categories? I'll give you one.
Yes, Your
Where
Honor.
the Court of Appeals exercises original jurisdiction.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Oh.
They can.
Yes. Oh.
And if
the court, when does the court in what case does the Court of Appeals have exclusive original jurisdiction? I'm not asking concurrent.
Yes, Your Honor. In cases where, in cases of certiorari, prohibition, and mandamus, Your Honor.
That's concurrent. I'm not saying concurrent. I ask, listen, exclusive original jurisdiction.
In cases where, Your Honor, of money laundering,
Money laundering,
yes, Your Honor, when the when
if
when it is there is a motion to freeze an asset, I think, Your Honor,
what
it's
else?
filed before the Court of Appeals. In cases where
Anti-terror law.
the anti-terrorism law, Your Honor,
Okay, one is also annulment of judgment. What
Yes,
is
Your Honor.
annulment of judgment?
yes, Your
Yes,
Your
what
Honor.
is annulment of judgment?
It is a process where it is a procedure wherein you ask the petitioner asks the Court of Appeals to annul the judgment of the regional trial court because the judgment uh, was not based on evidence, was
Can you do that? The remedy is appeal if you are questioning the evidence.
that the petitioner was not given his day in court. And
What do you mean he was not given his day in court? He participated in the trial.
well, sometimes, Your Honor, that there are litigants that for some reason they do not participate in trial, and then later on they will ask the Court of Appeals for annulment of
They
judgment.
do not participate. They do not participate, so that but they were not deprived of due process.
Well, Your Honor, they
They
claim
did not participate. What do you mean they did not participate? They refused to participate, and then they will ask the court to annul it.
well, in there are cases, Your Honor,
Because
that
they refuse to participate.
they
Why
claim that
why can they be why are they allowed to file a petition for annulment?
because
They refused to participate. They were given the chance. They were not deprived of due process.
because they claim that the summons were not properly served upon them, and that the court allowed the case to allow the plaintiff to adduce evidence, and then later on, when the decision is not favorable to them, they will go to the Court of Appeals and say that
Okay.
the judgment has to be annulled because they were denied their day in court, Your Honor. But of course, it's subject to the Court of Appeals to
Yes, yeah. And what are the two general grounds? There are two general grounds. One is lack of jurisdiction.
Yes, Your Honor.
The other one is extrinsic fraud.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, we're running out of time. I have no more time to ask you about the Sandigan Bayan. Most cases in the Sandigan Bayan, the most cases refer to violations of the procurement law. What is the general mode of procurement?
Well, it has to be made through the PILJEPs, Your Honor. It should be either you buy it from the authorized DBM
No,
recognized
the general mode is public bidding.
Public bidding, Your Honor.
Give me three exceptions. Give me three exceptions. There are several exceptions.
Yes, Your Honor. If the circumstances warrant it, emergency purchase.
What are those circumstances? What does the law say? Does the law say emergency?
Yeah,
The law say the circumstances warrant? What does the law say? That's the most common crime or violation in the Sandigan Bayan.
That I am not aware of, Your Honor. Of the exact words, Your Honor.
In exact
Honestly.
words, so when is negotiated the procurement? When is negotiated procurement allowed?
Well, if it is needed in the exigency of the service, Your Honor.
Negotiated.
Yes,
You
Your
are
Honor.
allowed. You're empowered.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or you don't know.
Well, Your Honor, the reason why I answered it, yes, because of the pandemic, Your Honor, the Supreme Court allowed us, to a certain extent, to buy anti-COVID measures.
It was the Supreme Court which allowed you.
The office, yes, Your Honor, through the office of the court administrator.
So they were allowed without bidding. Are you sure of that?
No, Your Honor, we were asked to.
That the Supreme Court.
We were asked, Your Honor, to get three
so bidding yun.
amounts from three different sources, and from that we chose the best deal that the judiciary can
So you had a choice. I was referring to negotiated bidding. Anyway, you're a voracious reader. You read on those laws. You may
I
be
will, Your Honor.
appointed to the Bayan, and also the internal laws of the Court of Appeals. You have much to read. So that will be all, Judge. I'm limited by the time. So thank you very much. Your excuse.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Be safe, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge Mendoza, and thank you, Honorable Justice Mendoza. That concludes the public panel interviews for this morning. We will continue this afternoon, Your Honor, at 2 o'clock.
Wait, Attorney Tally, there's another applicant, Judge Padan.
Sorry. Your Honors, I apologize. The second, sorry po. The second candidate to be interviewed is Judge Lilian M. Padaen, presiding judge of Regional Trial Court, Family Court, Branch 13, Quezon City. She is applying for the Court of Appeals, the Court of Tax Appeals, and the Sandigan Bayan. Good morning, Judge Padaen.
Thank
Judge
you.
Padaen, can you please, okay, it's okay.
Good morning, Judge Padaen.
Good morning po.
First to interview you is Honorable Judge Franklin J. de Monteverde.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney Tali.
You're welcome, Judge.
Okay. Good morning, Judge Padain.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yeah. You are applying for a post or posts at the Court of Appeal, Court of Tax Appeal, and the Sandigan Bayan.
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your first time to apply for the appellate court?
Yes, Your Honor.
And how do you feel?
Nervous, Your Honor. Very
Nervous. Don't be nervous. It's but normal for one to be
Thank you, Your
nervous. Okay. You are the presiding judge of the Regional Trial Court, Branch 13, Quezon City.
Family Court Branch 13, Your Honor.
It's a family court. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
And how long have you been there as a judge in the family court?
I think, Your Honor, I was appointed last March 2018, so more than 2 years, Your Honor.
Okay. But as a judge of the RTC, how long have you been there?
Almost 8 years, Your Honor.
Almost 8 years. When were you first appointed?
February 1, 2013, Your Honor.
Okay.
RTC Binangonan, Branch 68.
Now, prior to your appointment as a judge, kindly give us an insight in your professional background.
Okay. Your Honor, I was a private practitioner, but mostly I've been with banks. And before being with banks, I was also with the regional headquarters of ACS Pacific Limited, a regional headquarters of a foreign company. And then also I litigated with a law office when I was before I got married. And then I also worked with the Central Bank of the Philippines, Your Honor, and also with the UP Legal Office, Your Honor.
Okay. I have gone over your records, and I must say that your credentials are quite impressive.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, this being your first time, can you give us again, on the other hand, an insight in your educational background?
Thank you, Your Honor. I graduated valedictorian in elementary school, Your Honor, from a public school. And then I went to an art school for a 4-year scholarship. My expertise at the time, the arts that I was a scholar in was theater arts. And then I went to UP. Before that, Your Honor, I got scholarships also in UP and in Ateneo, but I waived the one from Ateneo and I instead enrolled in the University of the Philippines. Took up AB Political Science, finished the same in 3 years. And then I went on to take up my law in the University of the Philippines, Your Honor. Thereafter, I had my MBA from the Ateneo Graduate School of Business. And also I almost graduated from my PhD in creative writing. And Your Honor, I'm waiting to graduate now from my LLM. It's just that I was late in applying for graduation. I hope they will still consider it, so I should be able to get my LLM this December, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge, what is this creative writing about?
Your Honor, there's a PhD course, creative writing, because supposedly the student will be able to write fiction, creative nonfiction, or novel, or whatever that the student or the writer wants to do.
Now, although this is not a requirement on your part, but I have also noticed that you took the pre-judicature program,
Yes,
wherein you, that was for the 23rd pre-judicature program, and you placed number 1, top notch.
Yes, Your Honor, with an average of 95.6, Your Honor. I was the top notcher for that batch, Your Honor.
Quite high.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. I also noticed that you were a bank lawyer before, Bank of Commerce and Banco Central.
And Mega International Commercial Bank of China, Your Honor, a Taiwanese bank with a branch in the Philippines, Your Honor.
What about this your work at the Bank of Commerce?
Yes,
What was definitely, specifically, the scope of your work there?
I was quite junior at the time, Your Honor, so I was handling cases of the bank in the RTCs, and then I also reviewed contracts. I also advised the top management as to pertinent legal issues of the bank, Your Honor. And also, I was also appointed as corporate secretary or assistant corporate secretary of some of the affiliates of the bank, Your Honor.
Okay. You're still a law professor?
Your Honor, I used to teach at Adamson University, but this term, this SEM, I did not signify my intention to teach, Your Honor. But I still teach at MBA business law subject in the De La Salle University, Your Honor. I also used to teach at the FEU Institute of Law immediately after I graduated, Your Honor.
Judge, you highlighted in your application letter that you finished your college education in just 3 years.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did that happen?
I took advanced placements exams in certain subjects, Your Honor, and then because I I am really an industrious person, I take up. I don't have vacation. I enrolled during summer breaks, and so therefore I was able to finish everything in 3 years, Your Honor.
Okay. So from where are you, Judge?
I'm from Pangasinan, Your Honor. My middle name is,
Pangasinan? Okay. So it was not really a problem for you in taking up summer classes because then you can go
no,
home
Your Honor.
every weekend.
No, Your Honor. At the time, we were already living in Quezon City, Your Honor.
Are you married that time? Were you married that time?
No, Your Honor. I was very young then. I didn't even
Okay.
have
At what age did you get married?
27, Your Honor.
27. Okay. Now your husband is also a government worker.
Yes, Your Honor. He's a labor attaché.
In where is he assigned?
As of now, Your Honor, this month he is now in Beirut.
Okay. And how long has he been there?
Just this month, Your Honor. But before that, he has been in UAE and Saudi Arabia, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, considering that your husband is also connected with the government, how do you file your salin?
Separately, Your Honor.
Separately.
Separately, but I'm sure there are properties which are common.
Yeah, that's precisely what I am getting into, because I have noticed significant increases in your salin from 2013 to 2019. And
yes,
okay, and from 2013 of 15 million, it increased to 18 million 2014. And then come 2015, it increased by roughly 2 million. 2016, 1 million. 2017, 1 million. 2018, 1 million. And then 2019, roughly at 3 million. Can you give us a picture of this increase? How your salin increased, or
right.
your about the significant increases in your salin?
Okay, Your Honor. As I said, as to the real properties, and most of the properties, Your Honor, even if we filed separately, most of them are common. That's the same also with our investments. But we have this agreement that we do not check on each other's finances. So that's why I didn't want to say that it is common. We didn't want to file our SALN together so that we will not have to account to each other as to our individual savings, Your Honor. But the savings that I have and the investments that I have, that is not only from my salary, Your Honor. It also came from that of my husband, and especially because he is a labor attaché. He has his own allowances there, while I have his ATM here for his salary here in the Philippines, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge. Recently, we have seen or have read in the newspapers, on TV, that several lawyers were killed. And as a matter of fact, recently, a judge was shot by her critically by her clerk of court. Now, what do you think are the reasons? And these killings have not been solved immediately. So what do you think are the reasons why it is difficult to solve the killings of lawyers and judgment, especially on lawyers?
Well, I would like to think, Your Honor, that this is not just the lawyers. This is just part of the bigger criminality, which remain unsolved. But we, in particular, are concerned with the unsolved cases of lawyers and judges, Your Honor. But actually, it is just part of those unsolved crimes, Your Honor.
Judge, you are an achiever of sorts.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
So you are an achiever, an
Thank you, Your
achiever.
Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
So what do you do when you are not sure of achieving your goals? What do you do?
Uh, First of all, Your Honor, I revisit the goal. Number two, after I have seen that it is indeed the goal that must be set, uh, in my own way, I pray that it be given to me at the appropriate time or at His time, Your Honor. So what I'm trying to say is that in my own way, I pray and I let go. But I continue to do whatever has to be done in order that that goal, which is truly my goal, will be accomplished, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge, let's go to your medical record. I can see that while you were certified to be medically fit sometime in July of this year, but yet there are certain findings, and I'm referring to the CBC complete blood count. Your lymphocytes are high, your FBS, cholesterol, SGPT are high.
Yes,
Are you
Your Honor.
taking medications for this?
No, Your Honor. I was not advised to take any medication for any of those, Your Honor.
Even though your FBS is high?
That is according to the doctor, Your Honor. It's pre-diabetic. It's not
Fasting blood sugar. Fasting blood sugar.
Yes, Your Honor.
FBS.
So if you can see, the difference is 0.14 from the standard. So the deviation is just 0.14, Your Honor. Plus, because when those medical laboratory exams were taken, we were in the middle of the pandemic. I guess, Your Honor, the stress and the anxiety that came with the pandemic also played a role in the results. Plus, Your Honor, I have regularly been taking these examinations, and this is the first time. I believe this is the first time that my FBS was beyond a little bit beyond normal, Your Honor.
But being high in SGPT does not come overnight.
SGPT, Your Honor, if you can see, it is only 0.1 or point. It's not even 1, Your Honor.
Yeah,
It's
but the thing is,
0.01, I think.
but the thing is, the report states that the three are high.
3. What's the other one, Your Honor? The SGPT.
Cholesterol.
The cholesterol, Your
Cholesterol.
Honor. Yes, the cholesterol, Your Honor.
Okay. What about your lungs, your chest X-ray? Was it okay? Was it?
It's okay, Your Honor. It's okay.
Although, what is
There's
this mild thoracic dextroscoliosis?
Scoliosis, Your Honor.
What is this all about?
Curvature of the spine.
You have what's a scoliosis?
Scoliosis, yes.
Oh. Is this with the spine, not with the
lungs? No,
or
Your
chest?
Honor. No, Your Honor. But it was seen in the X-ray.
Okay. But it's not serious.
No, Your Honor. In fact, it's the first time that it was ever reflected in my medical examination.
You better take care of it, because my granddaughter, very young, she's about 13. She underwent an operation, surgery of the spine in Florida. She's staying there with her parents, with my daughter and son-in-law. And it was a good thing that she was taken care of by the Shriners. So we spent no single centavo for her surgery.
And she's all right now, Your Honor?
She's all right now, yes.
That's good to hear, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge. how is your relationship with your subordinates first?
Since I transferred to laterally to Quezon City, I brought some of my staff from Binangon, Your Honor. I also recruited one from a court where I was the acting presiding judge, Your Honor. So I believe my relationship with them is good because otherwise they will not come with me to Quezon City, Your Honor.
Okay, what about your relationship with your peers?
I have no problem with my relationship with my peers, Your Honor.
Your superiors?
None also, Your Honor.
But was there an instance where you manifested immature trait that caused you to become stubborn and which may create conflict with your authority? Was there an instance?
Immaturity.
Yeah,
I
immature
cannot-
traits, yung mga after which upon a discussion you stick to your ideas, you become stubborn.
Yes, Your Honor. I do not remember any in the first place. I might be stubborn with the things that I want to be accomplished, but I always exemplify an open mind, especially with regards to the ideas and suggestions of other people, especially if it is the subordinate or the peer, Your Honor.
Okay. Earlier, I have cited or mentioned that you were an achiever, that your credentials are impressive. Now, considering such stature, considering such achievements, do you expect people to notice such accomplishments and to give credit to you?
Not necessarily, Your Honor. I don't think they know. I don't think everyone knows all of my achievements. Sometimes I even forget unless I am reminded. I just do my work, and that's what I want to be noticed.
Supposing the people you know, whom you know, do not give you credit for your accomplishments, how do you feel?
It depends, Your Honor. What is the accomplishment? Are these the academic accomplishments?
Academic, of course.
Okay. If it's academic, Your Honor, I don't think it's important. What they should remember about me is how I deal with them.
So, how is your personality, Judge? Are you sensitive? Do you socialize with people? Are you an introvert or extrovert?
I believe I am a canvas of a mixture of all of those, Your Honor. I enjoy solitude. I like being alone with myself, but I also enjoy the company of others. I do not, I do not want attention. I do not try to get attention to myself. And so I'd rather not have that attention, Your Honor. In that sense, maybe I am an introvert also.
Okay, Judge. Thank you. Now I have two more questions to ask of you. Can you tell us what this doctrine of effective occupation is all about?
Doctrine of effective occupation.
Occupation.
To tell you honestly, Your Honor, this is the first time that I have heard of the term, but I believe it has something.
It refers to a discovery, the discovery of a certain land or island or what. This is the first time you've heard this?
I was referring, Your Honor, to occupation as in profession. So this is occupation in terms of international law. So I have not heard of it or I do not remember the term as it is, but I believe it has something to do with a state or an entity which occupies little by little until it has what is the term again that you use, Your Honor?
A doctrine of effective occupation.
effective occupation. So
It states here that discovery alone is not enough. So
it,
what is needed?
the state or that entity must exercise power over what is being occupied, Your Honor. It must have effective control over that jurisdiction or place, Your Honor.
Okay, here's the doctrine. No? Discovery alone is not enough. Mere discovery gives only an inchoate right to the discoverer. For title to finally vest, discovery must be followed by effective occupation in a reasonable time and attestation of the same. That's the doctrine of effective occupation.
Thank you for that, Your Honor.
Okay, so my last question. Have you heard of the Thalwick Doctrine?
Thalwick.
Thalwick.
Tal.
Thalwick.
Uh,
Thalweg. Thalweg. This is part of the constitutional political doctrines that we have.
It sounds familiar, Your Honor, but if you will ask me to define it now, I believe I cannot give you the definition.
Sige, Judge, I'll just give you the highlight of this doctrine. For this refers to the boundary of rivers, no? And in the absence of an agreement between the riparian states, the boundary line is laid on the middle of the main navigable channel. That is the Thalweg Doctrine.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Okay, Judge, that was my last question.
Thank you very much
for your
Your
time and good luck.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Yeah, you stay safe.
You too, Your Honor. Please stay
Okay,
safe.
thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Judge de Monteverde.
Thank you, Attorney Tale.
The next interviewer is Honorable Justice Noel Jimenez Tiham.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning, Judge. Thank you, Attorney Tally.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I've been looking to your work experience in the judiciary, and you appear to be the original judge at large because you served in the RTC, Branch 82 at Quezon City. Then you went to RTC Morong. You went to Binangonan. You went back again to Quezon City, went back to Binangonan, and then to Quezon City. Can you explain this? Were there no more cases to be disposed of in some of the stations that you had to be deployed elsewhere?
First of all, Your Honor, I was appointed, my first appointment was as a presiding judge of RTC Binangonan, Branch 68, Your Honor. And then before the year ends of my first appointment, I was designated as acting presiding judge of Branch 82, Quezon City, a drugs court, Your Honor. Thereafter, so that's the simultaneous with Branch 68, Your Honor. And thereafter, Your Honor, when somebody was appointed in Branch 82, then I didn't have a court wherein I acted as a presiding judge. But then there was a need for somebody to be an acting presiding judge of Morong, Your Honor. And so Branch 78, Your Honor. So I was again appointed as acting presiding judge there, Your Honor. And subsequently, Your Honor, when I was laterally transferred to FC Branch 13, Branch 68 was vacated. And therefore, in the meantime, I was for a time appointed as acting presiding judge of the court that I vacated. And then there was a need to appoint or designate an acting presiding judge for Branch 99. So I was told, instead of being an acting presiding judge in Rizal, why not be an acting presiding judge also in a court, a family court designated court in Quezon City, Your Honor. And so in all of these...
You were the prototype of judge at large.
that's why it's interesting for me, Your Honor, that position at large.
You took a PhD course in creative writing.
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you apply creative writing in your judicial decisions?
I do not apply my creative writing, Your Honor, but I use the proper writing, the good writing that I have learned. But I don't use it creatively in the sense that I do not inject fiction or creative nonfiction in my decisions, Your Honor. But I use the good rules and best practices in communication and in writing, Your Honor, in my decisions, I hope.
Do you consider yourself creative?
I would want to, Your Honor, but sometimes I'm not.
So you're a creative person. Your husband is a diplomatic person. Can you share with us how you resolve if and when there are marital disagreements? Do you do it creatively or diplomatically?
First of all, Your Honor, personal. When my husband was my boyfriend since College of Law, Your Honor, and for some reason he was able to instill in me that he is the boss, and so and so he was able to carry that on up to now, Your Honor. That doesn't mean that I am repressed, and that doesn't mean I am violated. That doesn't mean that I am abused. But I give due respect to my very good husband, and he's.
Do you consider yourself religious? Are you a religious person?
I believe I'm more of a spiritual person, Your Honor, rather than religious.
In your opinion, in this time of pandemic, which is more paramount? And you cannot answer all of them. Is it spiritual health, physical health, or mental health? In your opinion, there are no right and wrong answers here.
Mental health, Your Honor, because when one is mentally healthy, then that person must have a spiritual life, not necessarily religious, but something that believes, that person believes, recognizes that there is a higher being that can help him or her, and will make everything all right, or that intended everything to be all right. And when one also has good as appropriate mental health, then because I believe the most of the bodily aches and diseases come from the mind, or they are aggravated, Your Honor, by by not being mentally well balanced. So I believe in this pandemic, what is important is mental health, Your Honor.
Now, with respect to constitutional rights, which do you think is more paramount that would justify government intervention or overreach? Is it spiritual health or physical health?
Physical health, Your Honor, because physical health, Your Honor, because that is
valid. Is it valid and constitutional for government to issue health protocols that would limit the number of participants inside churches to only a few? Even if the church can accommodate 1,000, they usually limit it to a maximum of 30 to 50 parishioners inside the church. Whereas with respect to commercial establishments like malls, restaurants, and others, the restriction is somewhat liberal. Do you think there is discrimination in that case?
I don't think there is discrimination, Your Honor, because they are differently situated. The malls are different from the churches, and therefore they are not similarly situated, and therefore the rules should not be the same. And I believe that the rules or the protocols, the health protocols for this conglomeration, or when people go to the malls and when they go to the churches, is part of the state's police power, Your Honor. And that is to safeguard the general health of the community, Your Honor.
The directive to wear masks at all times, is that valid and constitutional?
At all times, Your Honor. Maybe not, but when you say you're outside your home, then I think it is not unconstitutional, Your Honor.
Why is it valid?
Again, Your Honor, because there is an equal obligation on the part of the state to safeguard uh, its citizens, and also an equal obligation for each citizen to ensure that they will not harm or will not cause disease to other persons, Your Honor.
So it is designed to uplift the physical health of citizens to avoid infection as well as transmission of the virus.
Yes, Your
That's
Honor.
what you're saying.
Yes, Your Honor.
What about mandating compulsory vaccination once the vaccine is available? Is that valid and constitutional?
That's a different thing, Your Honor, because the
Why is it different? When the vaccine, a person vaccinated reduces the risk of infection as well as the risk of transmission.
because, Your Honor, when you wear a mask and you take it off, that's it. It's only outside your body, Your Honor. But the vaccine goes inside your body, and who knows what it can happen there. So therefore, the person must have a say as to whether he or she consents to the vaccination. It must not be imposed by the state.
So you're saying there's a scientific basis for the wearing of a mask, but there is no scientific basis for the vaccine?
In the first place, Your Honor, there is no vaccine yet. There has not yet been established.
Hypothetically,
All right, Your Honor.
vaccine is available. Is it wrong for government to encourage citizens to have themselves vaccinated so that life can return to what is normal?
It will not be wrong, Your Honor, to encourage the citizens to be vaccinated, but to impose vaccination is another thing. That might constitute a violation of the individual's rights, Your Honor.
What do you understand by freedom, in your opinion? There are no right and wrong answers. What is freedom, Judge?
Freedom is the liberty to do what you want to do as long as you do not harm other people, Your Honor.
What are the sources of freedom?
We have natural law, and we have also the Bill of Rights under the Constitution, Your Honor.
Is freedom free?
Well, some believe that you have to fight for your freedom. But I believe that initially it is free, and it comes with every human being once that human being is born. But due to certain systems or certain circumstances, there are instances when one has to fight to maintain that freedom, Your Honor.
What is the Bill of Rights, Judge?
The Bill of Rights, Your Honor, is that part of the Constitution which give the people the limitation of the state. So it's actually the limit. So it's telling that the state cannot cannot go against these rights. These are your rights that the state must respect, Your Honor.
So it's an enumeration of constitutional rights.
Yes, Your Honor, but some of them, like the right to life, I believe, originated or stemmed also from natural law, Your Honor.
Is it correct to say that if you're claiming a right which is not included in the Bill of Rights, it is not enforceable, it is not demandable?
It is not legally, it might not be legally demandable under positive law, Your Honor. But there may be other reasons why it cannot be enforced in court, Your Honor.
It cannot be enforced.
In court,
What
yes,
about
Your Honor.
natural rights? Can you give me an example of a natural right?
The right to life, Your Honor, is a natural right. Is a natural right. It's a natural law right, Your Honor.
Does the person suffering from a debilitating illness have the right to use marijuana for medicinal purposes? Does he have the natural right to use marijuana for medicinal purposes?
Natural right. Your Honor, I don't. He may have the natural right, but he must obey the positive law, Your Honor. And under the Philippine laws, you cannot use marijuana unless you have medical authorization to do that.
So if you are a judge, and you are confronted with that issue, you will deny the accused his natural right to use marijuana for medicinal purposes.
Yes, Your Honor, unless there is a law amending the RA 9165, Your Honor.
Does a person who has no income, who is destitute and poor, have the natural right to steal bread and food for his family?
He has a natural right to food, Your Honor, and to life, but he has no natural right to steal, Your Honor. That is against positive law, and also against natural. The natural law itself provides not to steal, Your Honor, or to get somebody else's property.
You're applying also in this Andigan Bayan. Uh,
Yes, Your Honor.
how do you compute the period to determine whether there is delay in the resolution of the case? Can you give an idea of your understanding?
Your Honor, there are certain periods given under the continuous trial and then other issuances of the Supreme Court, Your Honor. And therefore, the courts will have to abide by that. There are certain instances when it is excused. For example, the accused cannot be arraigned because he's mentally ill or something. So that will not be counted. Or there are certain instances like force majeure, and therefore, for example, the courts were closed for a certain period of time due to force majeure, then that will excuse the running of the period, Your Honor. But there are specific rules as to when cases should be decided or incidents thereof should be resolved, Your Honor.
You're also applying with the Court of Tax Appeals.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is an LOA?
Letter LOA. It's not the leave of absence. LOA, letter of.
On the air. That's not the meaning of LOA. Letter of authority. What is a letter of authority?
In what concept, Your Honor?
I thought you're applying with the Court of Tax Appeals.
Yes, Your Honor. Letter of authority.
Who issues? Which office issues a letter of authority?
I believe the commissioner of BIR as well as the commissioner of BOC issues these letters of authority, Your Honor.
What is the purpose of a letter of authority?
To
Can
give to give to give authority for that person authorized to exercise some of the functions which may not have been originally the function of that person given the
You
authority.
might be confusing it with a SPA, a special power of attorney. So it's an authority to conduct an audit examination of the taxpayer. So an examiner who will audit the taxpayer's books needs a letter of authority. Yes or
Yes.
no?
I believe when the one of the banks that I was connected with, Your Honor, was audited, there was a letter of authority.
Your answer, you say, I believe. Okay. Now, so you need a letter of authority. Supposing the examiner, with a letter of authority to examine, to audit the books of the taxpayer, suddenly retires or suddenly dies, and it is taken over by another, it's a continuing investigation by another examiner, is there still a need to get a separate letter of authority?
I believe, Your Honor, the letter of authority will be continuing as to
Like a continuing mandamos.
yes, Your Honor, because
So it's a continuing. So there's no need for that. So you reach the case of
Your Honor,
Internal Revenue versus Sony Philippines. Okay.
Your Honor, I believe because just like even an SPA, when the person who was given an SPA dies, there's a new SPA which has to be issued. So I believe the more so in this case, Your Honor.
All right. Last two question. What is the doctrine of operative facts with respect to laws declared unconstitutional?
Operative facts may be the whatever is the crucial fact to the issue, Your Honor.
Okay. What is the doctrine? My last final question. What is the doctrine of judicial or constitutional avoidance?
That is when the Supreme Court, Your Honor, will decide the case other than on the issue of constitutionality, Your Honor.
Can you give me an example? All right, you can just email me an example of that. Thank you, Judge, for your time and good luck.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, Honorable Justice Tiham. The next interviewer is Honorable Judge Toribio E. Ilao Jr.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Attorney Tali Inting.
You're welcome, Judge.
I wanna take a deep breath, Judge, or you're retired.
No, Your Honor.
Not yet okay, take a deep breath and smile again.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. What's your story? Any relation to the Marcoses?
I'm an Ilocana, Your Honor, but I cannot trace a direct relationship to the Marcoses, Your Honor.
All right. Can you describe yourself, which is not found in your application requirement, other than what has been stated in your application?
I am a very contemplative person, Your Honor, and I also like to play around or fool around with my kids, who are 3 boys, and I appreciate fiction and literature, as well as the arts, Your Honor.
All right. How did you manage the disconnect between your philosophy as culture as a graduate of University of the Philippines, then took up your masteral in Zambia as well as in Ateneo Graduate School of Business?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, not choppy po. How did I
How,
manage?
yes, sir, with different culture and philosophy from the University of the Philippines, famous or infamous for academic freedom.
In the first place, Your Honor, it's not just the culture, but even that subject matter of the things that I studied varied from each other. So I was less concerned about the culture. Plus, I believe I'm a very flexible person, Your Honor. And then, actually, from my experience, Your Honor, I have discovered there's really not much difference as to the culture of these schools of higher learning, Your Honor, except that UP is secular, Your Honor. And of course, they have different style. But the standards is all of the schools. The standard is always excellence. So actually, from my experience, Your Honor, I have been involved with different schools, not only in my studying but in teaching, and I found that all schools are for excellence, Your Honor.
That you're applying for all appellate courts with vacancies, namely Court of Appeals, the Court of Tax Appeals, and the Sandigan Bayan. Which court do you think you could contribute best and why?
I believe, Your Honor, from my judicial experience, I can contribute more with the Court of Appeals, Your Honor, because I have been, as we have discussed in my interview earlier, Your Honor, I have been presiding judge and acting presiding judge of 6 courts, Your Honor: drugs court, general jurisdiction, drugs court, environmental court, family court, Your Honor. So I can contribute more to the Court of Appeals, but that's not necessarily the court that I want to be appointed to, Your Honor, if given a choice.
Arata, have you read the pertinent provisions with respect to the Court of Appeals? Even the internal rules?
I try to browse through them, Your Honor.
What is the certification required to be issued by the Court of Appeals?
Certification, Your Honor?
For every decision of the Court of Appeals.
Certification of finality. The finality of certification of finality.
Just the decision of the Court of Appeals should be accompanied by.
Yes, Your Honor, that the 3 justices they will certify that they have arrived at the decision after conferring or discussing as a division, Your Honor.
Or rather, should be accompanied by certification by the chairperson or the most senior member as the acting chairperson of the division.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're going to change your answer?
No, Your Honor, that's the certification issued by the Court of Appeals, and it is usually signed by the chairman of the division. But I can see from the decisions of the Court of Appeals, they are signed by all of the magistrates who took part in the division, Your Honor.
Just read the Article 8, Section 13 of the Constitution.
Yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
Have you, how many years you've been an RTC judge? More or less, you
8 years.
stated to be
Yep.
almost 8 years. All right. Have you ever thought that you should have decided differently on a case?
No, Your Honor.
Why?
Uh, because before I write, even before I write the first draft, Your Honor, I have already sifted through the decision to convict, for example, or to acquit, or if it's a civil case, to make one party win over the other. And so, therefore, I have already I consider these things when drafting the decision, and therefore, Your Honor, I have already exercised the appropriate time and effort to study the case, Your Honor, and to render the appropriate judgment. So it is rare. In fact, there is none that I can think of wherein I regretted or thought I should have decided otherwise in the final decision, Your Honor.
What in particular are the guidelines you follow so as not to think and feel this way?
First of all, Your Honor, as long as I know that I have based my decision based on the proven facts and the applicable law, then it is clear that that should have been the decision in that case, Your Honor. So I just apply the
All right.
facts.
The council considers more or less 70 applicants for this appellate course and half, maybe from the vacant positions to the Court of Tax Appeals or Sandigan Bayan. Why should you be nominated over other applicants or more senior or staying in the judiciary for more than years ahead of you?
All right, Your Honor. First of all, Your Honor, as I've already underlined, although I have 8 years of almost 8 years of experience in the judiciary, but if I was looking at my PDS early this morning, Your Honor, and I was looking at the periods of time that I have been acting presiding judges or assisting judges of other courts, and when I added everything, it's more than 11 years, almost 12 years, Your Honor. And that is, I have different kinds of courts, Your Honor. Drugs court, family court, environmental court, general jurisdiction court, Your Honor. So that's one. Plus, I believe my work ethics as well as my credentials, academic and as a faculty of law, Your Honor, as well as my integrity, Your Honor. So these are the things that I underline when I apply for these positions, Your Honor.
And you've summed it up as an RT judge. And what have you accomplished and what changes have you effected in your position so far at present as an RTC judge family court?
All right. So in this pandemic, Your Honor, our Family Court Branch 13 voluntarily digitized its records. So although this is not, of course, original from me, some other family courts, newly created family courts who have newly appointed judges have also thought about digitizing their records. So, Your Honor, I am proud to say that I can access our records online, and some of our staff on a need-to-know basis may also access our records even if we're not in court, so that we can do our work efficiently. Number two, Your Honor, is that although the other judges have also done this, we are an automated court, Your Honor. And so therefore, for both FC13 and Branch 99, during our hearings, whether it is in court before the pandemic or through video conference hearing, our orders are immediately released to the parties even before they leave the courts, Your Honor. And then, Your Honor, as to the family courts, I have noticed that even if it is in the law and in the rules, the uh, there is this way of the diversion and disposition of cases, the diversion, for example, Your Honor, so that the CICLs or the children in conflict with the law will not go through the usual procedures that that the older or the adult accused go through. So I noticed that when I was in Rizal, Your Honor, I was not yet a family court judge. But when I see that that the court that I am acting in did not follow the diversion, so I immediately correct the same. So I have used the diversion and the disposition conference as mandated under the law and the rules, Your Honor. And also, Your Honor, I have noticed that the prosecutors, they file information in court even when they should not have filed the same, because because these cases involve minors with minor offenses, allegedly minor offenses. And these should have been, the proper procedure would have been for the arresting officer or the punong barangay to conduct the diversion proceedings, and this case should not go to court, Your Honor. So when I see these cases that go to my court, Your Honor, other than dismissing the same, I put it in the archive but give a stern directive to the prosecutor to be able to report to the court what compliance has been done to the mandate of the law, that it should be uh, the punong barangay or the apprehending officers which must conduct the diversion proceedings in this case, Your Honor. I copy furnish the prosecutor who signed the information as a matter of being able to refresh their understanding of the law, Your Honor, because this will reduce the number of cases that are filed in court, and that the community justice system or the responsibility of the punong barangay and the apprehending officers will be underlined, Your Honor. There are other things, Your
How do you
Honor.
think what other things? Do you think you have contributed enough? You have
No, Your
contributed
Honor.
enough of your talents and skills in that post for 2 years only?
No, Your Honor. I have not contributed enough. Hello? Hello?
Yes, please.
Hello po.
Do you hear me?
Hello?
I can hear you. Please continue.
Hello? Okay. Naririnig na po ako, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Opo. Opo. I have not fully contributed everything that I can contribute, Your Honor, if that is that is my answer, Your Honor.
And what
It is a continuing thing.
Continuing. All right. What are your important realizations during the pandemic?
That once again, I have realized that certainly there are things that are beyond our control or even beyond our imagination or beyond what we can foresee. This is one of those things when we cannot, I for one, could not imagine that a virus can affect all of the powers in the like China, US, the European countries, and that what we have to have is resilience. So that is what, and that is also my experience with the courts, that the courts have, and all of the other offices, I believe, Your Honor, that we should be resilient because there are things that can happen which are beyond our what we can foresee, Your Honor.
How are you adept or abreast of recent legal developments or cases or decisions by the court?
By the Supreme Court, Your Honor.
Yes, please. If we talk about the court, we refer to the Supreme Court.
There are cases, Your Honor, that have been recently decided by the Supreme Court that I am aware of, but I'm sure not everything, Your Honor.
So explain briefly the concept of enforced disappearances.
The desaparecidos, Your Honor, wherein certain
Yes,
persons just
disparitos.
disappear. They disappear, but they were last seen either in the vicinity or with the military or police officers or persons from the state, Your Honor.
Differentiated from disparitos.
Disparitos, Your Honor. Disparitos.
Yes,
I am not aware of.
disparitos. And that song, disparitos.
Ah,
All right.
yung
Any difference from
I other than the song, Your Honor, I don't know what is a disparitos. Disparito.
all right, citing indoctrination and brainwashing as reasons for detention? Is the remedy of the issuance of a writ of habeas corpus available to the parents of a 19-year-old grade 11 student who joined a youth organization advocating the ideals of national democracy when said student dropped from school and abandoned her home? Are you aware of this case?
I am not
Very
aware
recent.
of this. I am aware that there is an issue, Your Honor. But if you ask me the particular case name, I will not be able to say. But my understanding is that habeas corpus may only be ordered against, as I said, those that are connected with the state, Your Honor, like the military, the police, or those connected with the state, such that if the writ is being asked to be implemented against a private group, then it does not have any legal basis, Your Honor.
But the question is it a remedy of the
It's not a
issuance of
remedy, Your
habeas
Honor.
corpus?
It's not a remedy because the entity against the writ is being asked for is a private. Did you say, Your Honor? It's an organization, right?
Yes, please.
Which is not connected with the state, Your Honor. So habeas corpus will not apply. It is not a remedy.
And what is the pronouncement of the court regarding disability benefits by seafarers, taking into consideration the labor code and the POEA? Let's shift to labor cases.
Will you please repeat the question, Your Honor, please?
What is the pronouncement of the court regarding disability benefits by seafarer, taking into consideration the labor code and the POEA?
Well, in all honesty, I will just guess, Your Honor.
Please.
And I believe the disability benefits will be those provided under the labor code. And because the POEA is not an entity which can provide for additional or to subtract benefits, but it can only recognize. So it will still be the labor code or the pertinent law, Your Honor, rather than the POEA issuances, which will only interpret what is already there.
All right, you listed then Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin, retired Justice Jose Reyes, and the current Justice Lionel as your references. How do they know your professional competence?
Your Honor, CJ Bersamin, I took my oath, my second oath, my latest oath of office before CJ Bersamin, Your Honor. And I also had this privilege of appearing before him when I was still a lawyer and he was still an RTC judge, Your Honor.
RTC judge? That was a long time
RTC
ago.
judge, yes, Your Honor. When he was still an
Hindi ko,
QC, Quezon City RTC judge, Your Honor.
hindi ko ata inabot yun. How about Justice Joey Reyes?
He is a co-faculty in the College of in De La Salle University, Your Honor. And Justice Leonen used to be an organization mate, or we came from the same school, Your Honor. And he was fourth year when I was a freshman, Your Honor. So I believe we had a common we had two common organizations, Your Honor.
So from among those three magistrates, whom do you emulate or your idol?
Ako lahat po sila kasi kasi po lahat sila lahat po sila magagaling. Wala po akong matulak kabigin. Si CJ po ay naging CJ, of course. Si Justice Reyes ay from the ranks po talaga siya. Si Justice Lionel lang po, I am impressed that he makes it a point na he makes his dissenting opinion, even if of course, he's the minority. He doesn't mind being the minority, and he's always very vocal about his seemingly novel points of view about these cases.
Oh, what do you have in common with your family?
We like to eat the same food. We like to do the same things.
Until now?
My family? You mean my immediate family, Your Honor? My children, my husband?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. Until now, yes, Your Honor. Because
they have other family?
No, my mother, or you mean the other family, Your Honor. But if it's, kasi sabi niyo, naguluhan lang po ako kasi sabi niyo until now. Yes po, kasi maliliit. Yung kahit, yun lang pong panganay ko, hindi na ako masyadong sigurado.
That's normal. So, if you were 80 years old, what would you tell your children?
If I am 8 years old?
80.
80. To enjoy life, live it to the fullest, have your goals, but most of all, live your life. That's all, Your Honor.
All right, that was my last and final question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Keep safe, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You too. How about your husband? Still abroad?
Yes, po.
In what place?
He's now in Beirut.
No.
He's now in Beirut.
He's now in
Beirut.
Beirut. Ako. Gulo-gulo dyan. Baka may civil war po na pinag-aaral. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Judge Ilaw.
Thank you.
Next interview, Judge Padain, is the Honorable Justice Jose Cattrall Mendoza.
Good morning po, Your Honor. Good afternoon na po pala.
Good afternoon. Oh, afternoon na ba?
Opo, 12:09 na po.
Tapos, ubus ng oras ko. Judge Padaen, your husband is now in Beirut as a labor attaché, am I right?
You're right po, Your Honor.
And you are applying in the Court of Appeals,
Yes, Your Honor.
right? In the Court of Appeals, about 30 to 40% of the cases there involve labor cases. Now, what is the rule on disability benefits of seamen? You can easily answer that.
No, Your Honor, it was already asked, but I said...
Yes, but I want to hit something. The
Opo,
rule,
opo.
not the POEA. There is my question is different.
Opo. Again po, my answer will be the same, whatever is provided for under the...
That is very general. What is the rule, the specific rule regarding disability benefits of seamen?
Are you asking, Your Honor, what is the...
Yes, what
for
is...
example, death benefits?
Yes, disability benefits. Okay? Not
Opo,
death
opo.
benefits.
Opo, hindi po.
Siguro it's 12 o'clock, you're hungry, but I asked that
sorry
because
po.
your husband is a labor attaché. And those are the most common cases of seamen. And most of the common labor cases in the Court of Appeals where you are applying.
I don't think they're any different from whatever is the...
Of course, it's no different, but what is that? What is the rule?
That for certain, that if they cannot work anymore or they cannot go...
that means disability. What is the rule
total
there?
disability.
Total, partial, or what? With respect to the periods, okay, can you give me the exact periods?
No, Your Honor, I cannot.
No, you do not. I thought, anyway, your husband is now in Beirut, formerly United Arab Emirates. No? But he handled the seamen cases, problems of seamen also abroad.
I do not hear him saying...
You're not sure, okay.
No po, hindi po. Kasi po yung countries po na pinuntahan niya, hindi po mga seamen. Pero galing po siya sa POEA. Mas marami po yatang seamen issues doon sa POEA.
Yeah, kaya nga kala ko giveaway ko yung una kong tanong.
Hindi ko naman po pinapakialaman kasi yung trabaho ni husband.
Hindi nakikialam. So, sige, let's go to another one. The Court of Appeals, what are the three main categories where the Court of Appeals is allowed to receive evidence? Main categories. Sa Court of Appeals.
Opo. When it grants new trial in civil cases, when it grants new trial for criminal cases, when it in connection with damages in relation to provisional remedies and in their original jurisdiction, Your Honor.
In cases where the Court of Appeals has original jurisdiction. Okay? Can you name one rule in the Court of Appeals where the court has exclusive original jurisdiction?
When it appeal from MTCs in cadastral and agrarian cases, Your Honor.
Exclusive?
Yes, Your Honor.
What else?
In the annulment of cases of the RTC, Your Honor.
Annulment, that is under Rule 70. Rule 70, 47. It's under Rule 47. You may be hungry now. What are the grounds
For annulment.
of judgment under Rule 47?
For annulment, Your Honor.
Yes,
That the
annulment
that
of judgment in the Court of Appeals.
the
Oh,
that the that the judgment
now there are two. I'll give you the answers. Lack of jurisdiction and extrinsic fraud. Okay, no problem with that. You remember? Okay. Judge,
Yes, Your Honor.
what is intrinsic fraud? What is intrinsic fraud?
Intrinsic fraud has something to do with uh, the transaction before the parties before the case transpired, Your Honor, as differentiated from extrinsic fraud.
Yes.
Intrinsic because it happened before the case
And
was
it
filed.
happened before the case was filed, and one party was preventing was prevented from adducing evidence. Is that correct?
That's
Intrinsic
extrinsic fraud. That's
Not-
extrinsic fraud, Your
Not
Honor.
extrinsic fraud. Very good. Let us go to the Court of Tax Appeals. What is the mode of appeal from a CTA division to a CTA en banc?
Appeal, Your Honor. Ordinary appeal. Ordinary appeal, Your Honor. And motion for
Yes.
reconsideration also.
Oh. When you file a motion for reconsideration with the CTA
En
en banc,
Yes, Your Honor.
and what is that mode of appeal if it is appeal? Ordinary appeal.
Ordinary appeal, Your Honor. Because when it's Rule 65, it has to be directly with the Supreme Court, Your Honor.
I see. Oh, when it is an ordinary appeal, in the lower court you file a notice of appeal, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what you do in the Court of Tax Appeal Division.
That I'm not sure, Your Honor.
You are not sure?
Not yet, Your Honor.
Not yet.
I'll find out.
Yeah. The answer there is that the mode of appeal is by a petition for review. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor. I remember.
I know you recall. Okay. It's a petition for review. What is the procedure with respect to the petition for review? You file a petition for review. That is the mode of appeal. What is the procedure?
Then it will be acted on by the en banc, Your Honor.
What is the procedure? Of course, the CTA and bank will act on it. That's very general.
I have not gone into as to the en banc, Your Honor.
You have not been there. You have only been to the CTA division. The petition for review should be under the procedure analogous to that provided for under Rule 42. Remember your Rule 42?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. What is the period?
15 to file the petition for review, Your Honor. 15 days from receipt of the final order or the decision of the order or denying the motion for reconsideration, if any, Your Honor.
Okay. Under Section 11, as provided in 99503, says here within 30 days. Has this been reduced to 15 days?
Petition for review, Your Honor, is just
Yes.
like
Yes. Has this been reduced to 15 days? Because you answered 15 days.
my understanding, Your Honor, is that for petition for review is within 15 days, fileable within 15 days. If I am wrong, then I will review my lawyer.
You're very wrong. Is that the only procedure recognized under the rule of appeal in the CTA?
On a point of law, Your Honor, the party can go directly to the Supreme Court by under
No,
Rule 65.
within the CTA itself. Is that the only procedure recognized?
Yes, Your Honor.
Recognized
Petition for review, yes, Your Honor.
under 42, is that the only petition for review recognized?
Yes, Your Honor, because the CTA and bank cannot annul the division's decision. So it's just under.
How about other appeals, not from the CTA division?
There are certain appeals, Your Honor, like
Yes.
from the decisions of the BIR commissioner or the BOC commissioner, but I am not aware of the periods, Your Honor.
I am not aware of the period, so I will not ask you about the period. How about if there are appeals from the Central Board of Assessment Appeals and the Regional Trial Court in the exercise of its appellate jurisdiction? What is the rule there?
Then it should be by petition for review, Your Honor.
Petition for review under Rule 42?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, it's under Rule 43. Okay.
Because it's a judicial, quasi-judicial body, Your Honor.
Okay, 43. So now, with respect to, you mentioned earlier, suppose the decision of the Court of Appeals, Court of Tax Appeals, CTA na lang, CTA division has already become final and executory. And you found out that there was an extrinsic fraud committed. Can you file a petition for annulment of judgment?
No, Your Honor.
No. It says here in the internal rules of the CTA that the rules of court shall be applied suppletorily. You cannot invoke that?
I read I cannot remember, Your Honor, where I read that the CTA decision of the division decisions of the division CTA division's decision is not subject to annulment by the division, Your Honor.
Why?
I believe that will cause divisiveness inside the
That the
CTA, Your Honor.
reason? Is that the reason stated in what you read?
It is stated there, Your Honor, that instead the party can go straight to the Supreme Court by under Rule 65 invoking an issue of law.
But extrinsic fraud is a question of fact. That is not an issue of law.
This is an exception, Your Honor, such that yes, Your Honor, such that the Supreme Court may entertain not only question of law, Your Honor, because there's no other plain remedy available to the parties.
No, the reason stated in that case, do you know the case?
I cannot name the exact case.
The
name.
case is Commission of Internal Revenue versus Ilihan. What was the reason given there?
I just remember, Your Honor,
The reason
the-
given was that the Court of Tax Appeals has no jurisdiction. And the Court of Tax Appeals, the CTA, has no jurisdiction. And the CA has been conferred such jurisdiction. Oh, but you cannot apply its authority, right? Because it has been conferred by it has not been conferred by law on the CTA. Was it conferred by law on the CTA?
I'm not sure, Your Honor, because the provision under BP 129 on the CTA I have not mastered, Your Honor.
You have not mastered.
Not yet, Your Honor.
But BP 129 covers the Court of Appeals, right?
Yes, Your Honor. I have not mastered.
Not all. That is the basis. The CA, the Court of Appeals, was given jurisdiction to handle such cases under BP 129, and the Court of Appeals under the two laws was not. Court of Tax Appeals was not granted such jurisdiction.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Oh, how about the? There was a case. In two cases, the Supreme Court said that the CTA has no jurisdiction to rule on the constitutionality of a law. Later on, there was an opinion rendered that it has such power. What is your opinion?
I believe, Your Honor, I think it has because even RTCs can rule on the constitutionality of a law, but of course we avoid that. So I guess
the regional trial court was specifically mandated by or authorized by law to rule on such issues, right? Constitutionality, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, what is that principle? What is that action? What do you call that action when you want to question when do you want to question the constitutionality of a law?
It presently escapes me, Your Honor.
Escapes you. Okay, you're hungry now. Well, there's still no violation before the violation. It is called a declaratory relief. Petition for declaratory relief, right? Now
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
remember. Now you remember.
You make me remember many things, Your Honor.
Suppose it is not a law. It's a reformation of instrument or a quieting of title. Can you file it? Can you file a declaratory relief petition or only when in cases of where there are questions on the constitutionality of the law?
My understanding of declaratory relief, Your Honor, is that it can even be filed by when there is when the party was prevented from being given a day in court, Your Honor. So it is not.
He signed the contract, but he said it was not our intention to want to reform an instrument. Can you file it? Can you file a petition for declaratory relief?
No, Your Honor, because
No?
no.
No, okay. You review your rules of court of that. No? Earlier you mentioned natural law. What did you say about natural law earlier?
I don't remember
You
what I said about natural law, but
you studied political science in UP. That is covered.
yes, Your Honor. My understanding of natural law is the basic understanding of humans by barely human of what by barely being human, what is right and what is wrong.
You are correct. Oh, is natural law mentioned in our no, in our laws?
In civil law, civil code, I believe, Your
Yes,
Honor.
yes.
Maybe I'm not sure about the
Maybe.
article. No, it is mentioned, Your Honor. It is
Yes.
mentioned. It
What
is
does it
mentioned.
say?
It is mentioned in Article 1423, if I remember the number right. It says there that the natural law is not a basis to file any action in court, Your Honor.
Hmm. It says there that obligations are civil or uh, natural. Civil obligations can be enforced. Natural obligations cannot be the basis for an action for its performance. Why is it? Why is the law like? Why does it say so?
Because we are more of
Natural
positive
law.
law.
Tiga,
Huh?
natural law. Why is it? Yes. Nakukuha mo na. You teach that in Lasal, di ba? Because natural law is not based on positive law but on equity and natural laws. Kala ko giveaway because you teach that in Lasal.
Pero I have the idea, Your Honor.
You have an idea? Of course, we have all ideas. So, kala ko giveaway kasi. Like my first question, yung sa labor.
Ako naman po, matagal na po ako hindi nagle-labor. What my husband
ganun
knows, I
ba?
don't necessarily know.
Okay lang because you're applying the Court of Appeals kasi.
Opo. Ay,
Those
opo.
are the most common.
Ang dami nga pong aaralin ko sakali po.
Nga, you are also applying in the Sindigang Bayan.
But I can only be appointed in one, Your Honor. So, pag
Yes.
na-appointed
Sige, you're applying in the you're
Peace.
applying in the Sandigan Bayan. What is the general mode of procurement?
Oh my gosh. Bidding po.
Bidding, very good. Now, give me at least 4 or 5 exceptions.
I forgot the terms, Your Honor.
You forgot?
Negotiated contracts, that's one. When there is no available, I don't just know this from experience, when there's no available, the things we need, it's not available there in
So
the field jobs.
we'll go na lang sa from your experience lang yung iba.
So sorry for Your
Negotiated
Honor.
procurement, when are they allowed? There are about 9 grounds here. I'll also only ask 3.
Negotiated contracts, Your Honor, if there was a
Yes,
failed
yes.
bidding, and then
But when is there a failed bidding?
there was nobody qualified
So
in the bidding,
if there is nobody qualified,
but there was a
you
prior.
you immediately resort to negotiated bidding or negotiated procurement. Nawala. Nawala siya.
Attorney Judge Padaen?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello?
We didn't we can hear you now.
Pakiulit.
Okay.
When is negotiated
So when there is a failed bidding, Your Honor, and then the
what are the
exigency,
What are the requirements?
And then the exigency of the need requires that there should be a supplier. And then
Then after the first bidding, can you immediately resort to negotiated procurement?
there must be a second bidding, Your Honor.
There must be a second bidding. Oh,
And again, nobody qualified or won the bidding.
oh, give me other 2 more. There are 9. So, mamimili ka na lang doon. Oh, pag nado ka na sa Digang Bayan, kayang-kaya.
Opo. Pag-aaralan ko pong mabuti, I promise.
Pag-aaralan mabuti.
Opo.
Agadal ka, no, after you get to be appointed. You grew up with
Quezon City na po, Your Honor.
Quezon City, but you can understand Ilocano, right?
One po.
Oo,
Opo.
kakas lang na nageg ko itay. Oh. Sige, you are, I have so many questions, but you have been saved by the bell. At saka, wala na tayo extension unless you will request one.
Hindi na po. Gutom na po kayo.
Ako pa hindi ko gutom kayo. Oh,
Hindi pa naman po ako gutom.
Hindi pa. Baka matumba ka. Sige,
Ayun na nga po.
that will be all. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your honor.
Sige.
And keep safe.
Keep safe. Okay, thank you. You too.
Thank you, Judge Padaan, and thank you, Honorable Justice Mendoza. That concludes the public panel interviews for this morning. We will adjourn and continue at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
much.